Breaking news in the mysterious disappearance of Arizona real estate mogul Sid Cranston.
The mystery of Sid Cranston Jr. finally over tonight.
Sid's body's found dead, and the FBI says it's murder by a single gunshot. The 40-year-old's body found buried on this man, Don Bishop's 80-acre property.
So, young man, no pictures of me.
We approached Bishop months ago, and he wasn't happy to see our Crime Watch daily cameras.
Is there any reason why you don't want to be more helpful with this type of situation?
Don refused to let us on his property, and for more than a year reportedly kept search and rescue off. Then, after an informant told police Sid was buried on Bishop's property, the FBI got a search warrant and uncovered Sid's body. Don Bishop tells authorities he has no idea how Sid ended up there. Kingman Police and the FBI have not named him as a suspect or filed any charges against Bishop, but they have made an arrest, and it's a very familiar face to Crime Watch Daily. The man who has been at the center of suspicion all along, Al Blanco.
Mr. Blanco, Jason Matera with Crime Watch Daily. We are investigating the disappearance of Sid Cranston. We have a few questions for you.
Kingman, Arizona, a small desert community in the heart of historic Route 66. It seemed an odd choice for a young, aggressive New Yorker to settle, but Sidney Cranston Sr. says his oldest son saw dollar signs in real estate.
What about this area suited him?
He liked the climate, you know, and he just saw opportunity here.
Sid had a system: buy dirt cheap, dilapidated houses, then get his buddy Al Blanco to help flip them.
He was, his handyman maintenance guy. He would buy stuff and Al would fix it up.
In June of 2015, Sid heads out on his motorcycle to collect about $2,500 in rent money, and calls Chris to tell him about one of his vacant houses that was burglarized the day before.
They stole the stove and the kitchen sink, and then they had the carpets rolled up and the hot water heater sitting at the front door.
Strange stuff for a burglar to steal. Sid tells his brother he suspects it's a local carpenter.
Did he mention any personal or business disputes he had with anyone?
He had a couple properties that had been burglarized, and he was trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Around 11 a.m., he calls his dad.
He sounded slightly distracted, but I didn't ask him, like, well, what's the matter? Because it didn't sound like it was a problem. And unfortunately, that was the last chance I had to talk with him.
Around noon, Al Blanco, Sid's friend and contractor, tells Chris he met Sid at this In-N-Out for a burger. He says Sid then takes off to meet clients and settle one last real estate deal. It turns out to be a deal with the devil.
Sid never was seen again.
Sid never shows. He never makes another phone call. He simply vanishes in the Arizona desert.
You know Sid, 30 plus years. Was that unlike him to go missing?
Totally unlike Sid to just turn up missing, and it wasn't just missing. All of his belongings were there, all his clothes, his luggage, his laptop, with all his real estate information on there, all his property holdings. There's just no way at all that he would just leave all that behind.
By 11:30 that night, Sid's phone battery is dead. And sadly, his father, brother, and even the Kingman police believe Sid probably is too.
So you suspect that foul play was involved?
Our agency is investigating it as a homicide case based upon our belief that Mr. Cranston did fall prey.
Chris immediately flies to Kingman. He's welcomed by Al Blanco, the man his brother considered family.
Al told me I shouldn't be in a hotel. I should come stay with him and his family. And I took him up on it.
Private investigator Lyle Sharman hears about Sid's disappearance and offers his help. While search and rescue teams scour the desert, Lyle does his own digging, and something is not right.
Where were Sid's motorcycle and other personal belongings found?
There's actually an address that Al Blanco manages for people. So we thought it was odd that Sid's motorcycle would be in a property that Al Blanco manages.
And what about that unknown client Al said Sid was going to meet?
We never were able to confirm that Sid had any appointment, so Basically, Al Blanco was telling us that Sid had an appointment with a mystery person.
A mystery that may be solved by that phone Sid was always on. Phone records obtained by the Mojave Sheriff's Department reveal Sid's last call was around 1:30 p.m. and the battery died at 11:30 p.m. So where was his phone during those 10 hours?
That's the million-dollar question.
Using cell tower transmission records and customized maps, investigators are able to trace every area Sid's phone travels to by the tower it pings off.
There's at least 20 pings or something on his phone.
Basically, his phone heads out of Kingman, goes 3 exits out of town, and is out in that area for several hours.
And then it returns back here to Kingman, and it pings off a tower that's less than a mile from Al Blanco's house, and then it never pings again.
And you'll never believe whose phone was pinging in those same exact spots.
According to the sheriff's report, Al's phone was in the same area at the same time. It just didn't make any sense at all.
But Chris still can't believe Al has anything to do with his brother's disappearance. So Lyle arranges a lie detector test.
I immediately grouped up all of Al's friends and family and said, will you guys take a polygraph? Al jumped up and said, I'll take a polygraph anytime you want, but the minute it came time to actually take a polygraph, Al would never take one.
I didn't want to believe that Alex was involved in this. I fought it. I fought with Lyle. I fought with my father and said, this guy he's not involved. He's going to take a lie detector. He's promising me.
But then a phone call that changes everything. A local jewelry store owner calls police and says a man walked into his store with 2 rings for sale, and he believed they belonged to Sid. Lyle says the jeweler positively ID'd the seller as Al Blanco.
Once we had that information, I had sent Al a text message and said, Al, we've come across some information that's kind of disturbing and I really need to talk to you.
From that moment on, Chris says Al has refused to ever speak to him again.
I told him what it was about. He didn't care. He already must have known.
You're going to have the opportunity to confront Al Blanco. What are you going to say to him?
Why did you tell me for weeks and weeks that you would take a lie detector? Why were their phones out in the desert together? Why did my brother's phone last ping that it ever had and at his house? He sold my brother's wedding band the morning after he went missing, before he was even reported missing. What the hell did he do? What's he hiding? If he didn't kill my brother, who did?
Crime Watch Daily is now on the case.
We're coming in right now.
Determined to get answers.
Mr. Blanco, Jason Matera with Crime Watch Daily.